All right, let's talk about a word that makes a lot of people's eyes glaze over. Economics. But I want you to forget the boring textbooks and the confusing charts for a minute. Because secretly, economics is the story of your life. And today, we're going to uncover one simple idea that explains pretty much everything, from your grocery bill to major government decisions.
You know that feeling, right? You're at the store, grabbing the same stuff you always buy, but when you get to the checkout, the bill is higher. It's frustrating, and it feels like it comes out of nowhere.
Or maybe you're looking at the job market. On one hand, you see these new careers popping up with huge salaries, but on the other, whole industries that our parents and grandparents worked in are just gone. What's actually driving all that change?
And then there's that word you hear on the news all the time, inflation. It's always spoken with this serious tone. But what does it actually mean for the money sitting in your bank account?
Well, the answer to all of these questions, and so many more, is economics. And I know, that word can be a total turnoff, but trust me, we're skipping all the complicated stuff. We're going to focus on one single, incredibly powerful idea that will completely change how you see the world around you.
See, at its heart, economics is just the story of how we make choices and what happens next. The real trick, the one lesson that matters most, is learning to see beyond the obvious, immediate effects of a choice and to spot all the hidden, long-term ripple effects that touch everybody.
The economist Henry Hazlitt said it perfectly. It's all about looking at the long-term effects for all groups, not just the short-term benefit for one. It's kind of like a superpower. It's about learning to see what is unseen.
Now that might sound a little abstract, so let's make it real with a super simple story. It's a classic parable in economics, and it's called The Broken Window. So picture this. A kid throws a brick and shatters a baker's front window. A crowd gathers around, and at first, everyone's just thinking, well, that's a shame. But then someone tries to look on the bright side. And this is where our one lesson comes in. What is seen is obvious, right? The baker has to hire a glazier to fix the window. The glazier gets paid. Then he goes and spends that money somewhere else. The crowd thinks, hey, look, the broken window actually created business. It stimulated the local economy. But they're missing what is unseen. The baker had to spend his money on a new window, but what was he going to spend that money on? Maybe a new suit from the tailor. So now the tailor loses a sale. The money wasn't created, it was just moved from the tailor to the glazier. And at the end of the day, the town is poorer by one perfectly good window.
Once you get this idea of seen versus unseen, you'll start seeing it absolutely everywhere. It's not just about a window. It's a mental tool that we can use to analyze huge economic policies. So let's try it out on something bigger.
Okay, how about this? You've heard this a million times. The government announces a huge new project, let's say building a bridge, to create jobs. On the surface, it sounds like a no-brainer. Great idea, right?
Well, let's use our tool. What's seen is easy. A shiny new bridge gets built, and we see people getting hired to build it. It looks like a pure positive. But what's the unseen part? Well, where did the money for that bridge come from? It came from taxes. And every single dollar taken in taxes is a dollar that you and I, the taxpayers, couldn't spend on something else. So the argument goes, for every public job that we see being created, there's an unseen private job that was prevented from being created somewhere else. And that brings us even closer to home. Let's not even talk about what the government spends money on. Let's just look at the taxes themselves.
Again, the seen part is clear as day. Taxes pay for things we need, like roads and schools and hospitals. But what's the unseen consequence? Well, according to this way of thinking, high taxes can change people's behavior. They might reduce the incentive for someone to take a big risk like starting a new company, because a big chunk of any potential reward will be taxed away. That hesitation, that business that never gets started, is the unseen cost that could lead to slower growth for everybody in the long run.
So do you see the pattern? Economics isn't just about memorizing a bunch of definitions. It's a way of thinking. It's a tool that helps you look past the obvious and ask, okay, but what happens next? And who else does this affect?
You can literally use this for anything. It's a simple two-step process. First, look at the immediate, obvious effect of something, the job for the bridge builder, the money for the glazier. Then, and this is the crucial part, ask yourself, what are the hidden, long-term effects on everyone else?
And this isn't just some neat mental trick. It's genuinely empowering. When you think this way, you can cut through the noise in the news, you can analyze the promises politicians make, and you can make much smarter decisions with your own money and for your own future. So, I'll leave you with this challenge. Now that you have this tool, this ability to look for the unseen, what's an example you can spot in the world? Think about a recent news story or even a decision in your own life. What's the unseen cost?
I would genuinely love to hear what you come up with, so drop your ideas in the comments below. And hey, if this was helpful and got you thinking, please hit that like button and subscribe because we're just getting started on this journey together. Thanks for watching.